hi everybody. So I'm going to be talking about the potential intelligence of your mobile phone, which is some work that I did as part of my NGD here in the Computer Science Department at the University of Bath. So, mobile phones. Well, almost everybody has a mobile phone. I think the latest statistic is about 87% of the world's population have access to a phone, a large proportion of which are smartphones, such as iPhones. And these phones are improving all the time. So the latest release of an iPhone will have better processing power, better graphics, better memory than the previous incarnation. And I'm sure you've all heard the story that your latest iPhone is more powerful than the Apollo 11 computer, which sent the man to the moon. So with all this performance, what does the phone have access to? So your average iPhone has a lot of sensors on board, including cameras, GPS, accelerometers, microphones and compasses, for example. And these are all built into the board by the handset manufacturers. They sit alongside all the other, as aforementioned, improved CPUs and GPUs, and handset manufacturers are adding these all the time to allow the phone to sense data through these sensors in real time and feed it accordingly. The phone also, if you're using it a lot for Facebook and Twitter and email, for example, has access to lots of these, and it can look at what you're entering in text. We can have access to what you're receiving from those, and can all do this in real time as well. On top of that, your mobile phone is also generally connected to the internet, and I think someone's already used this picture. So not only can it do sending and receiving locally, but it can also communicate across the web to other computers and mobile devices as well. So, with all this data in mind, what else can a phone do? Well, most people tend to keep their phones quite close to them, almost as an extension of themselves, it seems. So with it being so close and having lots of data to hand, there are quite cool things that you can do with that. So what can you do? Well, people can, for example, if you take motion data from a phone and combine it with location data, you can start to get an idea of the places that people tend to go through in their lives. And this is Bath campus through the eyes of a mobile phone. It's quite easy to do this with the data available. On top of that, you can do things like activity recognition. You can tell whether people are standing up, sitting down, walking, running, talking, whether you're male, female. Identification of your voice isn't too hard to do either. So this is all very cool, but why would anybody want to do this? Well, the applications. If you ask Google, they will tell you that it's to enhance things like searching. If they can present you with information that is there without you having to do the laborious search yourself, then that becomes quite useful. Other applications include things like recommender systems. If you can recommend things to people they didn't know they liked, then they will be quite happy with you. So everybody's trying to chase this idea that you can do this serendipitous delivery of information using context awareness. Great, so you can do all these applications, but what other cool things can you do with your phone? Well, the other sort of sophisticated real-time inference, real-time face recognition is quite easy to do. Voice recognition, you've all seen Siri, I'm sure. You can do voice search, and questionably fashionable glasses are now coming on the market where you can project things onto the world through augmented reality as well. The phone can also learn about you. It's quite easy to detect where your work is, where your home is, the mode of transport and the route that you take home, and various things that you do throughout your life and behavior can be sensed through your phone because you carry it around everywhere with you. One of the cool things that you can do with phones is also to predict things. So if you know that your phone knows that there's a meeting coming up, it can tell you to leave the house now because the traffic's rubbish. If you enter the airport, it can bring up your boarding pass as you walk through the gate to save you from doing it. Prediction is hard, but it's cool, and if you can do it right, then it's really good. What if it all goes wrong? When I say what if it goes wrong, it will go wrong because technology will go wrong. And one of the hardest things to do in this area is to design things to fail gracefully. It's all very good to try and do all this clever stuff, but as soon as it goes wrong, everybody's going to hate you and uninstall your app from their phone. So, I'm sure you'll remember this, Microsoft clipboard. Everybody hates it if something tries to be too clever. If something tries to be too clever, everybody gets annoyed with it, and they say, well, I don't really want to do this in the first place. It isn't actually giving me any benefit whatsoever. So one of the good strategies, and phones always are synonymous with buzzing, beeping, and flashing, and trying to get people's attention at the right time is actually very difficult. To beep at the right time, to buzz at the right time is non-trivial. Other things that could go wrong, well, there's things such as privacy and surveillance. Not that I would suggest that any government would ever spy on its citizens, but if they were to do so, the mobile phone has quite a slew of data accessible and would be used as a little agent in such an operation. But for those of you worried about something like a Terminator scenario, I wouldn't worry too much, because by the time they do any kind of machine uprising, their batteries will have all run flat anyway, and you wouldn't have a chance of winning from there. So thank you very much.